Padmā Ekādaśī. Yudhishthira Maharaja said, O Keshava, what is the name of that Ekadashi that occurs during the light fortnight of the months of Āṣāḍha, like June, July? Who is the worshipable deity for the auspicious day, and what is the process for observing this event? Lord Śrī Krishna replied, O caretaker of this earthly planet, I shall gladly tell you a wonderful historical event that the Deva Lord Brahma once narrated to his son Nārada. One day Nārada asked his father, what is the name of the EKADASH that comes during the light part of the months of Āṣāḍha? Kindly tell me how I should observe this EKADASH and thus please the Supreme Lord Vishnu. Lord Brahma replied, O great saintly orator, O best of all sages, O purest devotee of all, Lord Vishnu, your question is usually excellent for all mankind. There is nothing better than Ekadashi for the day of Lord Śrī Hari, in this or any other world. It nullifies even the worst sins it observed properly. For this reason I shall tell you about this Āṣāḍha-śukla Ekādaśī. Fasting on this Ekadashi purifies one of all sins and fulfills all one's desires. Therefore, whoever neglects to observe this sacred fast day is good candidate for entering into hell. Āṣāḍha-śukla Ekādaśī is also famous as Padmā Ekādaśī, just to please Hṛṣīkeśa, the master of the senses. One should fast on this day. Listen carefully, O Nārada, as I relate to you a wonderful historical event that was recorded in the scriptures regarding this Ekadashi. Just hearing this account destroys all kinds of sin, along with all obstacles on the path to spiritual perfection. O son, there was once a saintly king in the Sun dynasty whose name was Mandhata. Because he always stood up for the truth, he was appointed emperor. He took care of his subjects and thought they were his very own family members and children. On account of his pity and great religiosity, there was no pestilence, drought, or disease of any kind in his entire kingdom. All his subjects were not only free of all kinds of disturbances, but also very, very healthy. The king's own treasury was free of any ill-gotten monies, and thus he ruled happily for many years. Once, however, because of some sin in his kingdom, there was a drought for 3 years. The subjects found themselves best by famine also. The lack of food grains made it impossible for them to perform the prescribed Vedic sacrifices, offer oblations to their forefathers and to the devas, engage in any ritualistic worship, or even study the Vedic literature. Finally, they all came before their beloved king in a great assembly and addressed him thus, O king, you always see to our welfare, so we humbly beg your assistance now. Everyone and everything in this world needs water. Without water, almost everything is rendered useless or dead. The Vedas called water Nārada, and because the Supreme Personality of God sleeps upon water, his another name is Narayana. God makes his own abode on water and takes his rest there, in his form as the clouds. The Supreme Lord is present through the sky and pours forth rains, from which grow the grains that maintain every living entity. O king, the severe drought has caused a great lack of valuable grains. Thus we are all miserable, and the population is decreasing as people die off or leave your kingdom. O best ruler on earth, please find some solution to this problem and bring us to peace and prosperity once again. The king replied, You speak the truth, the grains are like Brahman, the absolute truth, who lives within grains and thereby sustains all beings. Indeed, it is because of grains that the entire world lives. Now, why is there a terrible drought in our kingdom? The Holy Scriptures discuss this subject very thoroughly. If a king or a head of country is irreligious, both he and his subjects suffer. I have meditated upon the cause of our problem for a long time, but after searching my past and present character, I can honestly say that I find no sin. Still, for the good of all you subjects, I shall try to remedy the situation. Thinking in this way, King Mandhata assembled his army and entourage, paid his obeisances to me, and then entered the forest. He wandered here and there, seeking great sages in their ashramas and inquiring about how to resolve the crisis in his kingdom. At last he came upon the ashrama of one of my other sons, Angira Muni, whose effulgence lit up all directions. Seated in his hermitage, Angira looked like a second Brahma. King Manhada was very pleased to see that exalted sages whose senses were completely under control. The king immediately dismounted his horse and offered his respectful obeisances at the lotus feet of Angira Rishi. Then the king joined his palms and prayed for Muni's blessing. That saintly person reciprocated by blessing the king with sacred mantras. Then he asked him about the welfare of the 7 limbs of his kingdom. After telling the sage how the 7 limbs of his kingdom were situated, King Manhada asked the sage about his own situation and if he was happy. Then Angira Rishi asked the king why he had undertaken such a difficult journey into the forest, and the king told him of the affliction his kingdom was suffering. The king said, "O great sage, I am ruling and maintaining my kingdom while following the Vedic injunctions, and thus I do not know the reason for the drought. To solve this misery, I have approached you for help. Please help me relieve the suffering of my subjects." Angira Rishi said to the king, "The present age, Satya Yuga, is best of all ages, for in this age Dharma stands on all 4 legs. In this age everyone respects Brahmanas and the topmost members of society. Also everyone fulfills his occupational duties, and only twice-born Brahmanas are allowed to perform Vedic austerities and penances. Also this is a standard, O lion among kings. There is one Shudra who is unlawfully performing the rites of austerity and penance in your kingdom. This is why there is no rain in your land. You should therefore punish this laborer with death, for by so doing you will remove the contamination inflicted by his actions and restore peace to your subjects." The king then replied, "How can I kill an offenseless performer of austerity and sacrifice? Please give me some spiritual solution." The great sage Angira said, "O king, you should observe a fast on the Ekadashi that occurs during the light fortnight of the month Āṣāḍha. This auspicious day is named Padmā Ekādaśī, and by its influence plentiful rain, and thus grains and other foodstuffs will surely return to your kingdom. This Ekadashi bestows perfection upon its faithful observers, removes all kinds of bad elements, and destroys all obstacles on the path to perfection. O king, you, your relatives, and your subjects should all observe this sacred Ekadashi fast. Then everything in your kingdom will undoubtedly return to normal." Upon hearing these words, the king offered his obeisances and then returned to his palace. When the Padmā Ekādaśī arrived, King Mandata assembled all the Brahmanas, Kshatriyas, Vaishyas, and